Ontario NDP leader Marit Stiles, who is speaking to reporters at Queen's Park about the Greenbelt and new information she submitted to the Integrity Commissioner. Let's listen in.
He or any government or PC party official had shared information with landowners or developers about Ford's plan to remove protected lands from the Greenbelt before it became public. Minister Clark emphatically said no. We now have a document that indicates to us that this was not true. Just 3 days before the announcement to tear up the Greenbelt, land developer Rice Group told the mayor of King Township that a parcel of land, which at that moment was part of the protected Greenbelt, protected in perpetuity, could be provided for a fee for a local project. And just 3 days later, that land became available. So maybe they had a crystal ball, but it seems to me like someone knew something. So to reiterate, 3 days before the Greenbelt plan was announced, a land developer verbally committed to a local mayor that protected Greenbelt lands could be used for a nominal fee. To make matters worse, the protected land was purchased just over 1 month before the government had announced their plan. The evidence tells us that someone knew something before the government related its plan to the public. The more we learn about the days and months around this deal, the shadier I think that this becomes. And I'll tell you, I wish I had that kind of luck. On Friday, I submitted these findings to the Integrity Commissioner for inclusion in the ongoing investigation that they've opened based on our previous request. And with that, I'm happy to take questions.
Can you just go through what exactly the allegation is? Because there's a lot of, you're making leaps about what you think happened, but what exactly are you alleging here?
So here's what we know. So first of all, I should say our research team located the results of a Freedom of Information request from a Newmarket resident, which was regarding some comments made in meetings with of King Township. And that this happened prior to, again, the government relating to the people of Ontario their plans around the Greenbelt. What it seems to indicate to us is that the Rice Group knew. The mayor of King Township knew. The real estate agent who was proposing to broker these deals knew and actually advertised prime land banking opportunities. And so we're going to, and this is why we're doing this, we're going to use every single tool, as we've said all along, to shed light on what happened there. And we thought that this absolutely should be in the possession of the Integrity Commissioner as he proceeds with his investigation.
When you say they knew, how do you think they knew?
If you look at the information, the documents we've provided, I know the media has them now as well, you'll see that in the notes of these meetings, they clearly indicate that this land could be made available to the township for a nominal fee. And of course, how would that be possible under the protections that the Greenbelt was under? So something had changed.
And you're
Seems
saying,
like it.
You're saying that the minister then lied to Birch when he answered that question?
I would say, I would say that, we're going to wait and see what the Integrity Commissioner comes up with. And also, as you know, the provincial auditor is also conducting an independent investigation, as we've requested. So I'll wait to see what their conclusions are. But as I said, Minister Clark seemed to indicate one thing in the chamber and another, and then these documents indicate something else.
You had already released a whole lot of documents with your initial request. How much bigger do you see this as?
Well, I think this is, we've done a lot of research. Our research team has been digging into this now for months. And so I think this is just the latest, but it to us really does seem to really clearly draw a connection between the government again, there's a gap, right? How did these folks seem to know that this land could be sold for a nominal fee when the people of Ontario still believed that, and had not been told, that this Greenbelt land was going to be that developers would be able to use that land. So I think that, you know, something happened here. There was some change that took place. We've been concerned about it. And I just want to say too, you know, I everywhere I go across this province, I'm just back from Windsor and Timmins and Sault Ste. Marie, this comes up everywhere. I was just up there up north in the last few days, steel workers in the mill asking me, what are we going to do about the Greenbelt? You know, this is a concern that a lot of people have, because the impact of climate change doesn't just end at the border of the Greenbelt, right? It doesn't end at the Ontario border, for that matter. And also, this is really important prime land that's supposed to feed our communities for generations. So there's deep concern about it, and also a really deep sense that there's something shady here. Something smells fishy. And I think that these documents, again, we want to make sure the Integrity Commissioner has access to as much information as possible. When this came to our attention, it seemed obvious that we would provide it to the Integrity Commissioner to assist in his investigation.
Did they accept the documents?
I believe so, yeah. I haven't heard anything else.
What if you're wrong here in what you're alleging? Because the Integrity Commissioner hasn't ruled on this. We don't know what what he's want to say. What's the risk here of coming out and kind of making these public allegations about the mayor and a developer? And what if you're wrong?
You know, I would say that the timing of all of this, with regard to the Premier making his decisions and a number of other steps, things that happened, land sales that took place in advance of this decision being made public, all seem to indicate that somebody knew something before they should have. And that is a matter for the Integrity Commissioner to look at, and the auditor, and we know the auditor is looking at it from a value for money and environmental impact perspective. I know that the OPP is also considering an investigation. I think there's every indication that something went wrong. Something here smells fishy. And so, as I said, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm just going to use every tool I have. We in the NDP and our team are going to use absolutely every tool in the toolbox. These are some of the things that we're finding out as we dig in. I know the media has also been investigating. It smells bad, and when something smells that bad, oftentimes there's a reason. But we'll wait and see what the Integrity Commissioner concludes.
Early November, Clark then denies it a couple weeks later. Ford on December 1st denied it. He denied it again, and then in the response to the affidavit to you, they both deny it. They talk about this enhanced confidentiality protocol with civil servants who recommended the land. That's a lot of denials in public, in the House, and in an affidavit. Does this not give you pause that maybe there's not a fire here?
I mean, I'll just say that, you know, where there's smoke, you better be looking for fire anyways. And I think that we saw Premier Ford already lied to the people of Ontario multiple times, right? He lied before the last election. He lied during the last election that he wasn't going to touch the Greenbelt. He lied. And so I think there's good reason for us to be, as Ontarians, concerned and to have suspicions, perhaps. And I think many Ontarians are asking this question. It's certainly not just us. And so those questions have to be asked. And it is the role of the official opposition to do that as well, I would say.
All the evidence presented so far has been publicly available information. Should we expect anything else from you by way of, you know, unique FOIs or anything else like that?
Yeah, we're going to keep looking. And I know, and I want to say, you know, that again, this was actually an FOI conducted by an individual in Newmarket, right? There's a lot of concerned people out there who are doing this kind of research as well. And so we're keeping our ears and eyes open. We're out there reaching out to folks in and around the Greenbelt and other concerned Ontarians. And we're going to continue to poke around just like everybody else is and see if there's anything that, you know, that actually shows a connect. It's really about shining a light in some pretty dark corners. Yeah.
Marit, on another subject, presumably you haven't been asked to run for the Ontario Liberal leadership. I just wondered what you thought.
I don't know.
No thanks. I wonder though what you. Yeah. You know, you sit on that side of you're going to be leading as of after Saturday. You're going to be be the leader of the official opposition. What do you think about what's going on just down to your, I guess technically to your left, maybe not to your political left, among the Liberals and the Greens. What is this? What do you make of this?
Well, I understand the Liberal Party and maybe the Green Party too doing some soul searching right now after some very disappointing election results. But I got to say, I'm very focused on my party, on our party, and our vision for this province. We're the official opposition. We have an extraordinarily strong team. I'm going to be, officially taking on the role of leader of the official opposition, NDP, in just a couple of days, I hope, and proposing a strong alternative to Doug Ford. And that's my focus. And it is the focus of our party and our movement. And it is our job to bring Ontarians along with us on that journey.
Mike Schreiner was always held up as this principled fellow who, is on environmental issues is unimpeachable, and now he's sort of almost sounds like he's in negotiations with another party. I mean, what does that? That must make you guys feel pretty good. You haven't had the greatest luck over the last few years yourselves, so it must make you feel kind of emboldened, doesn't it?
Well, we're the second time in a row, very strong official opposition. I think. Ontarians are counting on us. So I don't get caught up in what, the decisions that are my colleagues and other parties have to make for themselves. That's up to them. For us, it really is about setting out an agenda and a path forward over the next 4 years. So, our intention and my focus is yes, to push back against many of Mr. Ford's most egregious decisions, but also to plan forward and to come up with some great solutions for Ontarians. So I don't get caught up too much in what they're doing. I understand that they're soul searching. I understand all of that. But I think for Ontarians, and what I hear out there is there's a great desire for us to step up and be the official opposition, a strong official opposition, but also to come up with solutions for Ontarians and hopefully to win government in the next election.
Gears again
Sure.
To healthcare, since you were talking about Ford's decisions there. What I'm wondering is the plan to move more surgeries out of hospitals into not-for-profit and for-profit clinics. Mm-hmm. The Auditor General complained or had her report in 2021 that said there's still a lot of complaints about upselling and not being charged the proper amounts and being charged for things that OHIP should be covering. And one of the things the auditor found was that if you go cruising a lot of these websites, particularly for cataracts, there's no real information there on pricing, on what's OHIP, what's not. It's just a lot of technical stuff. So given that it's a majority government and they're very likely to be doing what they want, should they make it a requirement that all these prices and things have to be detailed on a website so that people seeking this medically necessary care can comparison shop on the web and get an idea? If they go to clinic A, it might be this much. If they want to get more elaborate lenses than OHIP covers because they don't want to wear glasses anymore, would that be a good idea, just so people could comparison shop?
Well, I would say, transparency and accountability are always absolutely essential in our healthcare system. But the concerns about, upselling is absolutely one of the significant concerns about the move to private, for-profit surgery. And we, as you said, the provincial auditor has actually reported on upselling. It's a pretty damning report, I think. And so you don't have to take it from me. This happens. It's happening all the time. And so I would say that, placing conditions around that, absolutely. But at the end of the day, the problem is the upselling. The problem is that some people will be able to pay for one level of care while other people can't and will not be able to. And that's kind of fundamentally a problem. It's a problem, and it continues to degrade our public healthcare system. And I do want to say, on this subject that, probably my greatest concern, though, is particularly around what the government is proposing, is what this is going to mean to our healthcare, to our public healthcare system, because in this crisis moment in particular, where the crisis we're facing is really a human resource crisis, it's a staffing crisis. I have not heard one thing that this government can't possibly, is not going to be able to stop healthcare staff, nurses, and others from leaving the public health care system and going to private, for-profit clinics where they're going to be able to pay them more and offer them better shifts and working conditions. And that is going to mean that people who have more serious conditions, folks who need to go to hospitals, right, are going to face longer waits and maybe not the treatment that they need. So I think this solution is absolutely going in the wrong direction, but 100%. People deserve to know, Ontarians deserve to know what this is going to cost them. Because there's nothing worse, and this is one of our major critiques of that upselling, is you're in a vulnerable position and somebody tries to sell you something additional, right? And you're going to be in that vulnerable position and you may not feel like you really have a choice.
I want to ask you about bail reform that's become a hot topic.
We are just listening to Ontario NDP leader Marit Stiles, who is speaking to reporters at Queen's Park about the Greenbelt and the new information she has submitted to the Integrity Commissioner.